YouTube. How we doing, family? It's your boy, Yo. And this is another episode of Yo Hoops. We go through every NBA game every day. Today's Wednesday, March 5th, and we have an 8-game NBA card. I'm going to walk you through every game, let you know which sides I like, and stick around because I have 3 highlighted selections for today. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite games in the comment section below. Without further ado, let me get into today's recap. Recapping yesterday, we did drop our highlighted play of the day. We took the Orlando Magic laying 7 points against the Toronto Raptors. The Magic actually hooped last night too. Paolo dropped 41, 8, and 8 with 4 steals on 14 for 20 shooting. The Magic really had one bad quarter and the Raptors made them pay. Overall, it was a decent day. We went 5 and 4 on the 9-game card, but let's go stack some highlighted wins today. Without further ado, let me get into today's games. In our first matchup of the evening, we have the Miami Heat in Cleveland taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cavs are laying 10.5 points, and the total is 226.5. The Cavs come into this one on the second leg of a back-to-back, flying from Chicago back home to Cleveland. They aired out the Bulls by 22 points last night, but it did take some fourth quarter heroics to get there. They won the fourth quarter by 20-plus points. Here at home, they've been the best team in the league. The Heat on the other side, though, have been hooping themselves. They've covered against the spread in their last 4 straight meetings, winning 3 out of the 4 outright. They also match up well with the Cavs. When I look back at the recent matchups between these two teams, the Heat have won 3 out of the 4 meetings between the Heat and the Cavs this season. Here on no rest, I think 10.5 is way too much to lay in a competitive series where the Heat leads 3-1. We're taking the Heat plus the 10.5 as our first highlighted selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves in Charlotte taking on the Charlotte Hornets. Wolves are laying 9 points, and the total is 223. Laying 9 points with the Wolves against any team sounds crazy to me. They do play their best ball on the road, but they're still just 10-10 against the spread as road favorites. On the other side, the Hornets have covered extended spreads at home all season. As home underdogs, the Hornets are now 16-10-1 against the spread, 7th best in the league. LaMelo Ball is playing here, and without Rudy Gobert on the Wolves side, I have to lean in the Hornets direction. The Wolves can easily air them out here, so I'm not necessarily in a rush to bet this one, but I can't trust the Timberwolves laying almost double digits on a Hornets team that covers at a 61% clip. We're taking the Hornets plus the 9 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Portland Trailblazers in Boston taking on the Boston Celtics. Celtics are laying 10 points, and the total is 225.5. I love this Blazers team. They've printed for me more than any other team this season. I was slightly worried here as Boston should be locked in down the stretch to secure playoff seeding, but the Celtics injury report is a mile long. Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis are doubtful. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are questionable. Then Peyton Pritchard and Derek White are probable. The Blazers injury report doesn't get much better either, though. Jeremy Grant is questionable. DeAndre Ayton and Robert Williams are both ruled out. I do want to see how this Celtics injury report develops to make sure we're getting a good number, but I'm rocking with the Blazers here. The Celtics just got a win and against the spread cover against the Nuggets in their last game, and that sets up perfectly for the letdown spot here. Coming off of an ATS win, the Celtics are now 11-30-1 against the spread in the following meeting. We're taking the Blazers plus the 10 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Utah Jazz in Washington taking on the Washington Wizards. Wizards are laying 5 points, and the total is 229.5. The Wizards laying points. This is the first game the Wizards have been favorites all season. Against this G League Jazz team, though, it makes sense here. The Jazz will be without Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler, John Collins, and Jordan Clarkson. The Wizards do have a lengthy injury report on their side as well. Jordan Poole and Malcolm Brogdon are both ruled out. Then Ryshawn Holmes and Kaishan George are both questionable. I honestly feel like the Wizards play a better brand of basketball without Jordan Poole, so that's not too concerning that he's out. Here, Chris Middleton and Alex Sarr are going, and I think the Wizards do what they're supposed to do and get the cover. This isn't my favorite game on the board necessarily, but I do lean towards the Wizards laying the 5 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Dallas Mavericks in Milwaukee taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. Bucks are laying 11 points, and the total is 223. Like I always say, guys, when it rains, it pours. It's pouring in Dallas right now. It was already a bad look trading Luka for an injured AD mid-season. The Mavs have now dropped to 10th place in the West, but the last straw was Kyrie Irving tearing his ACL. I wish Kyrie a speedy recovery. I don't even think Dallas fans have much hope at this point. I do think the Mavs players are motivated in this one and play hard, but with Yanni and Dame both going for the Bucks, they shouldn't have a problem airing out the Mavs here. The Bucks have been rolling anyways. They're 8-2 in their last 10 meetings, and I don't see a reason to fade them in this one. We're taking the Bucks laying the 11 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder in Memphis taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. Thunder are laying 9 points, and the total is 249.5. This is going to be a fun game to watch. Two of my favorite teams going head to head. Both teams have been laying eggs recently, but the Thunder have started to pull it together, winning their last 4 straight comfortably. Looking at the injury reports for this one, the Thunder will be without Alex Caruso, then Isaiah Joe is questionable. The Grizzlies will be without Yuki and Jaren Jackson Jr., then John Morant, Santi Aldama, John Conchar, and Scottie Pippen Jr. are all listed as questionable. Even at full strength, I would honestly lay the 9 with the Thunder here, but with the Grizzlies this banged up, I'm all over this one. We're taking the Thunder laying the 9 as our second highlighted selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Sacramento Kings in Denver taking on the Denver Nuggets. Nuggets are laying 5 points, and the total is 236.5. I've been telling you guys, I think the Kings can make some noise in the West this season. They've now won 4 straight in dominant fashion and have climbed to the 8th spot in the West. Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan look like brothers reunited. Keon Ellis is rising as an elite sharpshooter, and overall, I like what I'm seeing from the Kings. This will be a good test against the Nuggets, and normally I wouldn't be in a rush to fade them in Denver, but their injury report is concerning. Julian Strawther is out, then Zeke Naji, Peyton Watson, Vladko Konchar, Aaron Gordon, and Nikola Jokic are all listed as questionable. At full strength, I think the Kings would have a chance to win this one outright, but if any of these guys are ruled out on the Nuggets, we're getting value with the Kings here. We're taking the Kings plus the 5 as our third highlighted selection of today. Let's move. In our last and final matchup of the evening, we have the Detroit Pistons in LA taking on the LA Clippers. Pistons are laying 4.5 points, and the total is 219.5. The Clippers do come into this one on the second leg of a back-to-back, flying from Phoenix back home to LA. They blew a 19-point lead in the fourth quarter to lose outright against the Suns last night. We were on the Suns, so that was a nice cash for us, but that's not a good sign from the Clippers. On the other side, we know what the Pistons are on. They're 9-1 over their last 10 games, really hooping on another level. The Clippers are already without Norman Powell, but Tyronn Lue did say that Kawhi Leonard will not play tonight due to this being a back-to-back. No reason to overcomplicate this one at all. We're taking the Pistons laying the 4.5 as our last and final selection of the evening. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We've now broken even. We're 3-3 on our highlighted plays in March, but I got 3 bangers for you today. Let's go sweep the card and stack 3 highlighted plays, get in that win column today. Again, I greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, Yo! And until the next one, I'm going to catch y'all. Peace.